All right, everyone, welcome back into Go Throw's production of the 2025 Taupō Classic, presented by Kosana, New Zealand. Tour Down Under, stop number 2. This is round 1, back 9 action. I'm Nate Perkins here with 5-time world champion Juliana Korver. You're trying to defend here. This was your first dub last year.
Yes.
We're at Spa Park. The layout's changed a bit. Birdies are out there.
Yeah, it's definitely more conducive to women being able to attack this course. And we've already seen an order of magnitude more birdies in the division than there were last year.
And we're still in our growing stages down here in New Zealand. That's the whole field right there. And there's some killers in that lineup. So you have to get podium, right, to make the cash?
Yes.
You gotta get
this weekend, paying 3.
You gotta get top 3. So a couple of those killers might or will indeed miss the cash. And I think you're gonna need 5 to 10 down for the tournament to stay in there. Oh, that's high. Uh-oh. Immediately right. That's OB.
Hole 10 is 394 feet. It's downhill, so it is reachable with a glidey mid-range, but it is tricky. There's a tiny bit of wind coming up this alleyway, and there's OB all along the right-hand side.
It's going to bleed over, and that's also a big miss. Pretty daunting tee shot.
Well, and the reason why you hug the right side is because there is a mandatory on the left-hand side with the line basically coming back. So anything left of the mando, even if it's short, misses the mando.
Now that's buzz. That's hit nice and flat with just a touch of hyzer. And let's see one right there. Huge from Taylor. Didn't you place it safe? I believe this is a J that Emily's been throwing. Oh, scary approach right here. Has to have it. Throwing her third shot here after the OB stroke. Look at that. 20 feet left for the single bogey.
She really has remarkable control over almost all of her discs.
You're also in a similar position. You need this up and down.
I like the line, just got a little bit too much on it.
That grass, too. It's an ice rink out there.
Mm-hmm.
What a shot from Taylor. Dang, just not going to capitalize on that. Fully committed. Was there any tail? You were playing for the drop, or was it just too high out of the gate?
Just too high. Actually, a little bit too hard.
Okay.
It would have dropped if I hadn't quite so much on it.
Yeah, Emily will catch that up and down for the single bogey. Kind of walking into a series of holes where it's ripe for the scoring.
Yeah, or trouble. This is a very short hole, shortest hole in the course, par 3. It is pretty significantly uphill, but obviously the goal is to get through these trees, and a lot of potential for rollaway, a lot of potential for ricochets.
Taylor gonna go zone here. A little wide, but Yeah, I think wide and hits the tree, kicks down to the right. They kind of softened the OB up a little bit this year, fortunately.
It's definitely more generous in the landing area than it was last year.
Yeah. I felt like if you hit a tree last year, there was a great chance you were OB.
Most of the middle section last year was out of bounds, and now it's just off to the right that's out of bounds.
Emily just kind of punches it low, going to leave herself that uphill putt.
She's inside of circle 1, though.
Through the left gap, turning. Now we'll just have to wait and see. A lot of the times those are pretty obstructed.
Speaking of obstructed,
Oh, it has to go flick putt.
a
No.
little too low.
No.
Yeah, right into her bag.
What does that mean?
That means that she has to re-putt from where it was, and she takes a stroke penalty, and she also has to count that putt. It used to be that it was a 2-stroke penalty and you play from where it ends up. But now so she re-putted from where she was originally. Actually,
What? She's
took-
playing
she took a
provisional.
because we were having this discussion.
I mean, what a strange situation, but also I don't know about the rule. Like you're gonna get double
Because
penalized.
it's possible that you could stick your foot out there or your bag to catch the disc before it fell off a cliff or something.
Yeah, interesting.
And so then you don't get the benefit of playing from where you stopped it.
Yeah. Okay, so you're clear. Oh, it's not going to stay. Somehow it did not receive that one.
It was a little right and low, but I thought that it had a good chance.
Oh, and that's a really nice putt. Looking down the hill. Ton of danger.
Thankfully, I didn't get a roll away.
So Emily takes a 5. It's probably one of those things where you have to wait till the end of the round to figure out, just like looming. And
No, we actually found it in the rule book to
perfect.
verify.
That's always
So
much better.
Yeah. Here's another par 3. Those kind of hard to get to this one. There's a little bit of a low ceiling, and then the land slopes up by the basket. So it's kind of a specific height that you have to hit with the right amount of power to get onto the green.
Pretty shot from Jenny. Now, hyzer skip up the hill. Kind of got grabbed by that one patch of green grass on the property.
That was a common landing area for this hole for our groups.
Yeah, nice shape right there. A little bit of turn to it. And did you get a read off her flight at all?
I try not to do that because, especially with Taylor, her power is so drastically different than mine that it's really not that beneficial for me to see what happens with her disc.
I think that's also a turn from Emily.
Well, she found the edges, or close to the edge of the circle there.
Similar distance to the last putt. Oh, and a very similar reaction just off the front of the rim. And same, looked good the whole way, just not quite enough.
There is an uphill component to that may not be obvious.
Yeah, this region is really well known for their geothermal activity. On the south end of the lake, there's 3 or 4 volcanoes, but right in town, there is a wonderful thermal spa that you can go to and soak.
Hole 13, par 3, 279 feet. This one's pretty straightforward. Mandatory on the right-hand side that you need to be left of.
Yeah, Jenny gonna go driver here. Kahu. Oh, it's the mandatory flag. I think that might have saved her.
I think it did, yeah.
Busting out the track shades. Looking ultra focused right now. Going zone. And just a hair wide.
Didn't quite get over the top of that one.
Yeah, you're going to have a similar distance to the last putt. Be slightly downhill on this attempt. So this is that J again, pretty neutral mid-range. Slow from the start.
Another
No way.
so close. Just off the front rim again.
That was in the air for seconds.
It was a long shot.
Yeah. Just a little timid on the bid. Yeah, that nose down just didn't stay in the air. That'll be a par frame. That's unfortunate. It feels like that's one to pick up right there.
Yeah, in fact, that was our CTP hole.
Oh, was it?
Your membership dollars have a huge impact on the growth of the game of disc golf. The PDGA uses membership dollars to provide and aid disc golf as it spreads across the globe. From tools like the PDGA app and Tournament Manager, services like the TD Helpline, and grant programs that support the growth of disc golf globally. Your active membership also brings you access to select member benefits, including free and discounted access to the Disc Golf Network. So sign up today, and we'll see you out on the course.
OTB is very specific on how they list the disc because they want you to like the disc.
Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
Not just marketing.
It's only the best.
Hole 14, par 4, 433 feet. The basket is on a ridge behind these trees. If you can throw underneath the canopy here, you might be able to scoot up close enough for a putt. But really nice shot is to flex something to the right of those trees and have it skip back towards the basket.
Jenny holding on to that box. She's been playing a long time, right?
She has. I heard a story that she used to be. She had a club. I think that was something like only ever play am, and
Right.
after a number of years, then she finally did move up to pro, and she's been there for quite a long time. So yeah, I do believe that she's perhaps measuring in decades.
All right. Great line from Taylor. Gets under the late trees. That might be in the circle. At 433, she's in the circle. Now, did you ever consider rolling this?
I never thought of it, but this actually would be a good hole to roll.
I could see you lining up that wide roller.
You've got kind of have an embankment to roll into and stop it. So, yeah.
But it's par 4 for you, so nice safe play. Turn for both you and Emily. And similar result.
Be a psychological thing. If this had been a par 3, might have been trying to figure out how to potentially get up there for a possible birdie.
Yeah, I would say that this is one of the softer pars on the course. I think out there on the tour, you would find this as a par 3 for sure.
Absolutely.
But it's always one of the questions of the game, like how do we frame it? You know, how do we make it more appealing? How do we make people go for stuff, but not make it only reachable for the top 15%?
You know, as we mentioned, it's a new thing for them to have separate tees, period.
Yeah.
So, you know, the pendulum's going to swing a little bit and then come back, and it'll stabilize and find the right spot. But
Back to even.
as a player, it's much more fun to have a bunch of soft 4s than completely unreachable 3s.
Yeah, it really does deflate the energy when you're just playing for par all the time. There we go. There's that birdie frame.
Hole 15. This hole is quite interesting. So there's a straight component at first. There's an out of bounds line on the left, and you don't want to end up in the trees on the right. Then it turns 90 degrees through this very narrow gap, and the basket is positioned iconically on this fallen tree.
Yeah, touchy tee shot right here. All about the placement. If you're not far enough, you don't have any kind of angle into that late gap. Hands up in the air.
She got the green flag.
It's a great spot. Now, is this shot ever in danger of going too long right here? Do you have to tone back at all?
I don't.
That's great.
There are times when not having a lot of power can be a benefit.
You don't have to think about it. You take that one factor out. Curl. Yep.
Much closer to that out of bounds than I wanted to be.
And Emily's still going Destroyer here. I would think she has to tone back just a hair to not reach that deep OB.
Such fantastic control.
Yeah, just kind of slows it down, pops the nose up a little.
There's a rock right in the opening that you can see. It's painted green, so it sort of blends in, but it is definitely an indication of where you want to end up if you're laying up to the gap or what you want to fly over.
Yeah, so Emily, yourself, and Jenny, they just all didn't throw it far enough. You need a little more distance off the tee to really have that window. Yeah, Taylor is far enough to feed the forehand through. Really nice shot. Dumber alert.
I know. I tried to get out.
That wasn't bad from where she was positioned.
Nice little catch toss. There are some spots on this green that really don't want to land. Deep left. Some unmakeable putts back there. Really nice. Just enough. This helix looked great.
Yeah, I love how the bottom pole is cut off and it has that little stand.
This is the updated helix as well. This is Simon Feezy's final adjustment to the basket. The cross chains in the middle at the top, instead of just hanging down loose, they cross with each other, which he said felt like even more so prevented the high center spit outs.
Hole 16, another very wooded hole here. Par 3, 318 feet. You can visualize the route through these trees, but it's pretty spectacular if you can actually make your disc do that.
Yeah, there's a pure line, but this is a daunting hole, and if you hit early, it brings the single and double into play quickly. I think even advancing halfway is kind of a sigh of relief moment.
Uh-huh. I was actually happy with that because I landed in that fairway, so I should be able to find a line to the basket.
She's going fast speed here. Oh, that looks pure. Keep flying. Yeah, it's just tough to match that shape. For the backhand, I feel like it's more of Heiser that moves left and then flips up late. Not really a straight shot.
That was pulled right a little bit, but it made its way through, as you said, about halfway down the fairway.
Yeah, nice touch there. That'll be a 30-footer for the par look. The triple pump. That must be a small gap. Oh, it's leaking deep.
A little wide, so it was a little bit higher than I wanted. Flew past it.
Yeah, these holes really feel like you have to get through them. It's a thick pine forest. Oh, nice hammer from Jenny. Back-to-back holes throwing the overhand. Okay, just outside for Taylor and high. That's big time par saved. First C2 putt of the day. Go throw replay.
Left side, but it stays in.
What a catch. We just mentioned the cross chains. The Helix basket. I believe they're going to be available pretty soon in the United States. It'll be a big deal.
They are by far the prettiest basket on the market.
Yeah, that wine glass that's spinning on the bottom.
Hole 17, another very challenging wooded hole. There's straighter shot, and then there's this a left to right shot. Both are pretty daunting. Basket in a little bit of a clearing, 305 feet down the fairway.
Now, which one do you feel is harder?
I think they're both very challenging. Last year I went with a straight shot. This year I'm going with the turnover shot.
There's a line out there. It's just hard to find.
Kind of hard to see it from the tee, too.
Yeah. Everybody likes the left side as well.
The reason I like the left side is because there is actually a mandatory on the right-hand side that it is possible if you go right side, could kick and miss.
Get it.
That's a nice shot. Hard to really access C1 on that left side.
I think ideally you throw something that turns and then flattens back out.
Oh, that would be magic. Flex through the woods. Seem to be having a good time out there. It's always a little lighter on day one.
We had a good gallery following us.
Yeah, the city really loves disc golf. They take pride in this course. The club takes amazing care of it. The two TDs, Ken and Steve, just amazing humans. Jenny was way up there. That's a little sharp. She needed to tag you in for that little patent flare shot.
Needed a little glide on the end of that.
Let's spin this one in, JK.
That's what's necessary.
For another par save. No way! You knew it. Of course you knew it. I didn't know it. That's beautiful. That's back-to-back C2 putts for the par.
Yeah, I took a little bit of time to figure out if there was any way that I could get it, push it there, and it was just too far.
I'm going to clip that, and then I'm going to replay it when you lay up from that distance in the future. A really nice bogey putt from Taylor. Big difference right there. She's going to falter on back-to-back 16 and 17. I think this finish here, it's going to have a big, it's going to play a big role for the champion out here. Those two tight wooded holes and now this. Talk about the difficulty here of the 18.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential scoring separation here. Hole 18, it's a par 4, 531. So there is a Mando on the right-hand side. There's also a low clearance if you're going straight. If you hyzer something out, there is an out of bounds on the left. And then the basket, though it's not an island, it basically plays like one. And so you need to decide if you're going to try to fly over the out of bounds and put it into the basket or if you're going to lay up.
Just over the hill. Oh, and it actually hurts you.
I thought it was a great shot, but it just kept bleeding to the right.
You know, if it got on edge at the top of the hill, I think we might have seen a skip and a hyzer. Really clean follow through with that destroyer shot from Emily.
This was a common result, hitting the trees, as it was pretty hard to get underneath them.
Yeah, I see that. That ceiling is just kind of late in the flight.
Oh,
clear to the green, but there's OB everywhere here. Looks a little hyzered. Needs to check. That'll be close. Okay, I think she's safe. Big moment right there.
Taylor in an unfortunate situation right there in front of that tree. She's still able to get a good arm swing and controls it beautifully.
Yeah, it's a pretty shot. Saw a lot of people struggle with this approach. And I think the real fatal miss is swinging it too wide and not ever crossing.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to fly the green.
Yeah.
If it goes OB, that's okay, and you take it right there on the green. Absolutely, the worst thing is to have to pull it back to this short side.
So you're close enough to go putter. You're going to throw it hard. Also needs to check up, and it does so.
Was happy I hit that tree.
Okay, got a little tree love right there. Emily for 5 under on the day. We're going to go 3 par saves in a row. That is massive. That's 3 in a row. Was that also outside the circle?
I think it was just inside, but it was more obstructed than that tree than it looked like it was. I was trying to decide which way to go around it.
You really got the putter warmed up to finish. Oh, and Jenny didn't have a luck.
If you're behind that tree, it's almost impossible because of the raised basket and the low limbs on the tree.
Yeah, it's a confident bounce back birdie for Taylor. Good little catch right there. First time seeing Jenny Umstead play on camera. Definitely held her own. Had some great shots, had some really nice birdies. Another beautiful look at the Waikato River. And after that hot front, I was kind of expecting the scores to continue dropping.
Well, the wind was noticeable. It wasn't heavy, but it was more than it was in the front 9.
And I think we're going to see that pick up throughout the rest of the weekend. Emily Weatherman leading the pack, and after 3 beautiful par saves, you're just 1 back, as well as Taylor Choceck, and we are going to have Sophia Donica join you guys for the lead card for round 2. Big shout out to the Tour Down Under, to the PDGA for helping Go Throw get out here and film these events, bringing you guys this coverage. Thanks for joining us here. This Back 9 production from Juliana Korver. Nate Perkins. We'll see you soon for round 2.